look up. No more running from the bad guy. I'ma stare him in the eye like, what's up?
Everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of My Story, My Strength 365-day challenge, a place where I created a safe space for me to express and share my story to help everyone understand that these parts of my life did not come easy. They're not easy. Of course, they're triggering trauma stories, um, but the healing is possible. Healing is hard. The journey is rough, but it's possible to heal from some of these situations and some of these incidences, and not all of them are going to be abusive. Some of them are just going to be something small, simple, and basic, like today's story, um, that cause a lot of damage with very little efforts. I'll say that. So for my trigger warning, this content contains detailed descriptions of emotional betrayal, boundary violations, substance addiction, and complex relationship dynamics, including unwanted sexual advances and emotional manipulation. It also includes it touches on themes of trauma related to personal boundaries, being ignored, feelings of confusion, hurt, and rejection. If you find this discussion of addiction, emotional abuse, or sexual boundary violations triggering, please prioritize safety and well-being. Consider having a support person nearby, or choosing to engage with this if you want to. This content when you feel emotionally ready. Okay, your healing and safety always comes first. So I've always been the type of person who opens up my home to people in need. I've learned over time this is not always the best for me or my family, especially my kids. I've had my homes destroyed. I've been evicted because I let people live in who caused chaos, and not all the times were bad. Sometimes guests stayed when they said I'll stay for a week or a month or whatever, and then they move on. But this particular memory is where opening my home put me in a confusing and painful situation, and it cost me someone I cared about really deeply. Um, I believe it was around Christmas time. I had someone living with me who was addicted to heroin, but she was trying to get clean, and she only wanted to stay for a little while, or at least that's what she told me. That she was just trying to stay there for a couple of days to detox herself and get clean. She wasn't just someone struggling with addiction. She was a beautiful, really kind, caring person who had a wonderful, happy personality, and we were really close. Not romantically, we were just close. I knew she did have a crush on me. She did. And there was an obvious attraction, but I also knew that that was not an appropriate or safe situation for me because, again, she's an addict. I didn't need any drama. Plus, how I met her would not have been appropriate at all. She was sick and she needed help. So I made sure to set firm boundaries about the dynamics of our situation, and she respected them. It was a good situation. At this time, I was still seeing my partner who had recently moved out of my house, and he was living with his family member in their own apartment, but he rarely came over. So during this holiday season, he did. He never really came to see my kids who formed a bond with him, but he came to hang out with us, during this time. So, well, with me and the kids. I don't know if he chose to stay there because of her, because she was there, or because he just wanted to spend a few days with me and my kids, but he ended up staying for a few days. And things were going well, you know. It was the holidays, and I believe it was Christmas. I don't really fully remember. I just know I cooked, we ate, we all hung out, and we were having a good time. He never said he was attracted to her, but I knew he was, um, because she's a very light-skinned, complected woman, and he was known to be attracted to lighter-skinned women. I had a small concern about it, but he was really respectful, so I just kind of pushed it aside. But then the night came that he made his move. We were in my bedroom watching TV. We were watching movies or something. I believe it was a movie. We were watching TV, and I had a really big bed, and she was on one side of the bed, and me and him were on the other side of the bed, kind of cuddling a little bit, watching the movie. We weren't together, but we did things like cuddling. That's what made the situation confusing as it was. Um, and he suddenly started making advances towards me, kissing me on my neck, rubbing me. And I already told him I was not interested in having a threesome with him or any sex of any kind uh, at all, especially any sexual situation involving those two, because I had feelings for him. I was like overly in love with this man, overly in love with him, and I I knew that if I were to have a threesome with someone that I had that much of an emotional connection with, that it would not end up well on my feelings would be hurt. Just not gonna lie, I can't just watch someone be with another person and I care about that person. And I am bisexual, so I am attracted to women. But that doesn't mean, let's just go jump on every female that we see walking down the street. But still, he started kissing me and touching me in ways that I really didn't want to with her there. But I just kind of laid there and let him do what he's gonna do. But I was so hurt. I couldn't believe that he would try this after everything he had done, everything he had put me through up to that point. And I specifically told him, no, I did not want to do that. I did not want threesomes. And I hope that he would respect my boundaries, but he's always acted like my boundaries were like optional. He could choose what boundaries he wanted to respect and which ones he didn't. And if he chose to change his mind about a boundary, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. That's the biggest issue. I don't see what the big deal is. It's not, that big of a deal, but it is. But then he tried to involve her. He grabbed my hand and tried to make me grab her hand, but she didn't respond to his advances because what he didn't know is I've already talked to her about the situation. She knew my feelings for him. She knew that I wouldn't have a threesome with him and her. She knew that would be a boundary. So she didn't respond. And eventually she got up and just went to sit on the floor. And I just laid there trying really, really hard not to cry. I was feeling embarrassed, feeling powerless. And he just pretended like nothing happened. He didn't apologize or acknowledge that he had just disrespected me in my home. His coldness really cut deep because, again, I told him I did not want to have any threesomes. He knew I had insecurity issues because at this time he knew that I felt like he preferred lighter complected women over darker complected women, and he did this. This is the first time I've really opened up about that night and how much it has hurt me. I really don't talk about it because, again, it makes me feel less of a woman. And I want to make a quick disclosure here. This is kind of a sidebar. For those who date bisexual people, please understand that bisexuality does not mean that someone wants to have threesomes or open relationships. Many of us just want to connect with the right man or woman in an honest and meaningful way. We are not all freaky, want to have orgies and party, or looking to be involved in multiple partners. That's just a stereotype, and it's wrong, and it's damaging, and it causes situations like this to assume just because you are bisexual that every time you see a woman or a man that it's okay for you to point that out. It's okay for you to show attraction. No, you need to be focused on the person that you're dating. Just because because when they're dating you, they're focused on you. At least I am. Yes, am I attracted to women? Yes. But if I am in a relationship with a man, that is who I am with. I don't care about another woman, and I don't care about another man. I care about you. And a lot of people who date bisexual individuals, they kind of get that stereotype, and it's wrong. Not to say that a lot of people, not just bisexual, like threesomes. A lot of people like threesomes. Just because a person is bisexual does not guarantee that they will. And that's something that people need to respect and understand. So back to I needed to point that out because, that wasn't the first situation I've been in like that. And it's really horrible. So let me identify everyone. Sorry for the coughing, you guys. That was my husband who is sick. And I didn't know that he was going to wake up in the middle of this. So I apologize for that. Hey, you never know what's going to happen on these lives. But that night kind of shattered my sense of safety and trust in my own space and relationships. That the most painful part wasn't just the unwanted advances. It was the profound violation of my boundaries by someone I loved very much. I felt invisible, disregarded, and like my voice meant nothing. And I felt ugly. Like, seriously? It wasn't nothing that was arranged or talked about. You just decided to do something because of an attraction you may have had. Because I'm not going to lie, the girl was beautiful. She was. She is. And inside and out, beautiful person altogether. But self-control is real, Control yourself. The confusion of loving someone who disregards my limits made me question my worth. Was I truly deserving of respect? Was I somehow responsible for tolerating his betrayal? I was wrestling with feelings of shame, embarrassment, and a deep sadness, as though my home, my body, and me, they were no longer mine to control. I was no longer mine to control. The fact that this happened in my sanctuary, surrounded by people I trusted, left me feeling betrayed and unsafe. I doubted myself. Was I weak for allowing him to do this? Was my pain even valid? Could I reclaim my power when the one that I trusted treated me so coldly? These thoughts kind of wove a complex wound, a mixture of emotional betrayal and validation, and the crushing silence of unspoken hurt that I carried by myself for years. So my reflection question to you is: how has someone's disregard for your boundaries affected your sense of safety and trust, not only in yourself but in others? What feelings arise when you think about some of those moments when you felt unseen and disrespected? So, the negative thoughts that I had, the negative mindset rooted in this experience left the belief that my boundaries don't matter, my feelings are and needs are secondary or optional for those to honor. But the truth, the reframing thoughts of this is boundaries are a form of self-respect, and anyone who truly cares for you will honor them without question. So honestly, that what you feel, that the negative spot part of that did not, it was not a truth. The truth is boundaries are something that can be respected by those who truly respect you as a person. And the affirmation that I have with that is I am the guardian of my boundaries. My voice commands respect. I deserve relationships where my limits are honored and my worth is celebrated. I reclaim my power with every breath and every choice to protect myself. So, mini coping session. Today's practice is called boundary body mapping. And how we do this is it's a technique designed to ground and empower. And how we do this is we find, of course, that's gonna always be step one. Find a quiet place where you can sit comfortably. Well, find us a quiet place. Sit comfortably with your eyes closed and take a few slow breaths to center yourself. Now begin mentally scanning your body from head to toe. Oh, this is the same one from yesterday. Notice areas of tension or discomfort. But this isn't a stretching one. This is a sitting one. These are places where your boundaries may have been crossed or feel vulnerable. Visualize a protective boundary forming around these areas like a shield or a gentle barrier that can flex and protect you, but doesn't close you off from connection. So just kind of gently being around and it moves where you move. I don't know if this is helping you guys. Imagine this shield growing stronger each time you breathe out. Feel it wrap around your chest, your heart, your mind, protecting your emotional and physical space. Now visualize this shield sending a clear message. This is my space. Respect it. Feel the strength and safety that comes from this boundary. And the message is, this is my space. Respect it. That's it. Sorry. When ready, slowly open your eyes and journal or note any feelings or insights. This technique helps you become aware of where your boundaries feel fragile and teaches you to mentally and emotionally protect your space. Building resilience and self-trust after boundaries and violations are important, and this is a tool to help you get there. So next is the empowerment challenge, the 1-minute empowerment challenge. So today's challenge is to assert your power by saying no firmly and unapologetically, out loud or silently. So find a quiet moment and practice just saying no with conviction. No, 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 thank you. It could be about a small boundary or something bigger, whatever feels authentic. Notice how it feels to take up space and assert your limits without apology or explanation. If you're up for this, and only if you're up for this, choose one person or a situation where you have felt your boundaries were tested and commit to protecting your space by saying no. If that boundary is crossed again, this challenge is about reclaiming your power and standing firm, even when it feels difficult. Because a lot of us, we have a problem with people pleasing. And we have to understand that no is a full sentence. And it doesn't take a lot of effort. And you don't have to say it mean. Just because you say it firm don't mean you have to say it mean. No. And mean it and stick to it and honor it. So, Survivor Spotlight. Today I am honoring, yes sir, Mr. Terry Crews. Terry Crews grew up in a strict military household in Flint, Michigan, where discipline, and rigid masculinity shaped his early years. Though raised with structure, Terry faced the harsh realities of toxic masculinity and unyielding expectation to suppress emotion, conceal vulnerability, and perform strength at all costs. These early pressures planted seeds of internal conflict that would reverberate, well, which would come back through his whole life. As Terry rose to fame as a professional athlete, he later began acting as a comedian, and he faced another kind of battle: the insidious abuse of power in Hollywood. In 2017, Terry bravely broke his silence to expose his own experience with sexual assault and harassment by a powerful Hollywood executive, joining a wave of survivors in the Me Too movement. His courage sparked vital conversations about abuse of power, particularly within the entertainment industry, which we are seeing so much every day. Today, even to this day. Beyond the assault, Terry has spoken openly about surviving emotional manipulation and systematic oppression, both in the workplace and within the family dynamics. He has detailed the toll of being forced to fit into narrow definitions of black masculinity, which often devalues men's emotional health and limits their expression. Terry's journey toward healing has marked reflection therapy. Is marked by self-reflection, therapy, and activism. He challenges toxic norms and champions mental health awareness, especially among Black men who disproportionately suffers in silence. Through books, interviews, and public speaking, Terry models a new kind of strength, one that embraces vulnerability, accountability, and community. Terry Crews survived the silent wars waged by toxic masculinity, emotional suppression, and abuse of power. His survival is not defined solely by trauma, but by his transformation into an advocate who dismantles the very system that once sought to silence him. He turned pain into purpose, proving that true strength is found in breaking cycles of abuse and redefining masculinity on one's own terms. Terry's story reminds us that survival includes claiming your full humanity, embracing vulnerability, and using your voice to protect others. So, Mr. Terry Crews, who I am a very big fan of, my son grew up on Everyone Hates Chris, and I'm with white chicks. That's all I gotta say. Terry Crews, thank you for speaking your truth to power and challenging the toxic systems that hurt so many. Thank you for redefining strength and showing that healing and courage go hand in hand. You've made a space for men to be seen and heard, because trauma is not just something that affects women. You made a space for men to be seen, heard, and healed. You've turned your story into a beacon of hope and change. We see you, we stand with you, we are proud of you, and we honor you. Thank you so much, Mr. Terry Crews. So if you want to hear more daily challenges like this, please subscribe to Empowered Voices, Finding Strength in Survivors, and join me every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for my podcast, Insights of a Survivor, where I interview and speak solo about the harsh realities of trauma and how we can improve our lives to heal in the best way we can. Also, the daily challenges like these. And don't miss that. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention one thing. Every Wednesday, I have a special anthology tour podcast where I'm going to be highlighting the warrior women of war. And it's an anthology that I myself am a part of. So this is every Wednesday, Central Standard Time, where I will be interviewing each member who has written a chapter in this book, and some who are also going to be participating in a really big summit, December 12th, 2025 in Dallas, Texas. So get into my bio, click that link tree, click that link, go to that summit. It's going to be empowering. When that book is ready, the link to purchase that book will also be in my link tree. But back to that, we cannot miss my collaborative podcast, Raw and Real, with Mr. All Love, that is aired every last Saturday of the month, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we also address the raw and real truth about healing trauma unapologetically and more less filtered than my own stuff. So you need to choose. You need to chime into that. If you haven't already, jump on my channel and look at our very first episode where we interviewed Miss Lady Poet. You know, it's really epic. And also, please don't ever forget, last but not least, to join us. We'll join my sister on her show, Kiss Corner, by Coach Kiss, every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until the end of the year. Then you're going back to her regularly scheduled program of Thursday. I think it's 8:30 p.m. Central Eastern Standard Time, but I'll get back to you the closer we get to that. So together, we create this safe space where your healing is nurtured, your journey is honored, and your power rises. Your healing is not just your journey, it's a revolution. So just know your story does not end in pain. It begins in power. I will see you all tomorrow for another powerful story of healing. I love you all. Stay strong.
Heard you looking for a hero. Well, look up. No more running from the bad guy. I'ma stare him in the eye like, what's up? I know the journey got hard for a minute, but I ain't giving this up. Yeah, I got the heart of a champion. If I get